Today is July 2nd. This isn't merely another square on your calendar. Something has fundamentally altered. Not in the world broadcast on your screen, but in the universe you hold inside. So many are looking for some grand proof, for external validation, for earth-shaking headlines or cosmic theater. But the sign you've been anticipating isn't loud. It doesn't make a scene. It's a quiet, nearly imperceptible whisper that speaks only to those who have learned to truly listen. On July 2nd, the very energy we move through changed. Perhaps you sensed it, a pressure in your heart, a sudden, piercing clarity in your mind, or a profound moment of stillness that washed over you while the world kept spinning. You are not making this up. This is not some fluke. The cosmos, the planet, and your own consciousness are woven together, and today they have kicked into a new, precise alignment. For those of you who are paying attention, July 2nd simply feels different. You might lack the words to describe it, but your body registers the change. Your breathing knows it. Your inner state has already recognized it. This feeling isn't anxiety. It isn't happiness. It's a deeper resonance, a knowing, a gentle knock on the door of your true self. Now here is the honest truth. The signal is already here, but the majority will miss it because we've been programmed to look for spectacle. But the real unveiling is not an event that happens to you from the outside. The unveiling is the moment you land completely in the now. The moment you become fully aware of your own energetic signature. The moment it dawns on you that time is shrinking not for the world, but for your personal journey of waking up. You've been given a small window, a precious gap to truly awaken. July 2nd isn't a scream demanding your focus. It's potent and exact. If you allowed yourself even 5 minutes of silence today, you likely felt it. A tiny crack in your habitual thinking, a flicker of pure truth between two thoughts. This is the energetic shift, and it holds enough power to change the trajectory of your entire life. If you are ready to pause and witness it, the world won't wait for you to catch up. Your duties, your routines, your emotional tides, they will all continue to pull at you. But today, July 2nd, you have a clear invitation. It's quiet and gentle, but unmistakable. You can continue to ignore this gentle nudge, or you can stop for just one moment and ask yourself, what am I truly doing with my precious time, my focus, my life force? We so often wait for the right time to begin our inner work, but this shift on July 2nd didn't wait for you. It's already here. The only question is, are you here with it, or are you still lost in the static of everything else? Energy shifts don't ask for permission. They aren't swayed by opinions. They follow deeper, unseen principles. And one of those principles is that nothing stays the same forever. This moment, this sharpness, this alignment, it will fade. If you don't act on it today, you will miss this unique current. So how do you respond? Find stillness. Tune into your breathing. Become the watcher of your mind. Let the social mask fall. Sit in silence. It doesn't need to be for hours. Begin with a single, honest moment, because one moment of radical honesty with yourself is more potent than a lifetime of performance. The energy of July 2nd has brought a quality that reveals what's authentic and what's illusion. You have likely noticed it all around you. People are either more centered or more chaotic. Some are incredibly grounded, while others are spinning out. Some are experiencing deep peace, while others feel like they are breaking apart. This is the signal. It doesn't come with a flashing warning sign. It just reveals the truth about who you truly are and what you still need to confront within yourself. Don't wait for another special date. Don't look for another guide. The teaching is unfolding right now within your own direct experience. If you missed it this morning, there is still time, but the clock is ticking. The opening is not a massive gate. It's a narrow passage. You have to walk through it consciously today. You don't need to solve your entire existence. You don't have to figure everything out. You just need to be aware. Aware of how you breathe, aware of your choices, aware of the real direction your life is heading. This awareness is the launchpad for all transformation. The energy of July 2nd isn't designed to frighten you. It is here to roast you, to pull you back to what is essential. And what's essential isn't what you know, what you possess, or the image you project. What truly matters is your capacity to be the calm within the hurricane, to hold your ground when everything around you is trembling, to remain centered when your mind wants to scatter in 1,000 directions. This isn't theory, this is practice, this is life. And today, July 2nd, is your training ground. If you listen carefully, your inner wisdom is already whispering. If you sit in quiet, your breath will lead you back home to presence. If you allow yourself to be aware, this shift will elevate you to a deeper way of being. But if you keep rushing, keep avoiding, keep ignoring, then the sign will have come and gone, and you won't even realize what you've lost until much, much later. And at that point, the opening will have closed. So pause right now, just for a second, because today is July 2nd and something is different. A call is coming, not from the outside, but from the very core of you. Will you pick up? Today is July 2nd, and while society runs on its usual programming, something profound is taking place. Not up in the heavens, but right here inside of you. People talk about the rapture, like it's a dramatic cinematic explosion, a cosmic event that whisks people away from the planet. But the reality is the true unveiling isn't about being taken away, it's about having things taken away from you. It is the moment when all that is inauthentic begins to crumble and fall. It is the moment you see your own reflection clearly without the usual filters, narratives or comforting lies. On July 2nd, this is the real sign something inside of you is being laid bare. And for anyone who is truly paying attention, you cannot unsee it. This unveiling isn't an external show. It is an internal exposure. It's a spotlight hitting the corners of yourself that you have skillfully avoided for so long. It isn't here to break you. It is here to show you who you have actually become. This is deeply uncomfortable because most of us have constructed our identities on masks, job titles, possessions, accomplishments, or relationships. But today, July 2nd, none of that is strong enough to keep the truth concealed. The energy is too piercing, too precise. It slices through self-deception. It strips away what is fake, and if you are not prepared for it, it will feel like your entire world is collapsing. But in truth, the only thing that's falling is the false. Because July 2nd is not about chaos in the world, it is about confrontation within the self. When your inner defenses begin to crumble, you finally see the true architecture of your own mind. You start to see your own programming. The way you retreat into anger or seek control or numb yourself with distractions. You start to hear your authentic voice, not the one conditioned by society, but the one that was always there, just beneath all the noise. This is the great reveal. It is exposure with nowhere to run. Many are still waiting for a spectacle. Flashing lights, a divine message from the clouds, some supernatural intervention. But the ones who are more attuned already know the real drama is happening inside. The real main event is found in stillness, because when all the external static dies down and you are finally alone with your own mind, your own truth, your own awareness, that is precisely when the transformation kicks in. Today, July 2nd, you are being called to stop running, to drop the performance, to cease all hiding. Everything you believe yourself to be is being put to the test, not by anyone else, but by your own consciousness. This isn't a form of punishment, it's an invitation. A call to remember who you were before the world molded you into who you thought you should be. But this is the tough part. Most will instinctively reject this process because it is far easier to keep the mask on. It's more comfortable to continue the performance. But easy is rarely true, and the truth is rarely comfortable. On July 2nd, comfort is being removed, and what's replacing it is clarity. Raw, undeniable clarity. The kind of clarity that forces you to be still. The kind that pushes you into deep self-reflection. The kind that simply doesn't let you pretend any longer. So ask yourself in this moment, who am I when the audience is gone? Who am I when all my titles and labels are stripped away? Who am I underneath the fear, the ego, the stories I tell? The answer to that is the unveiling. The answer is the revelation. That is what today delivers. Not ruin, but revelation. And that is infinitely more powerful. You may be experiencing specific things today, heightened sensitivity, emotions bubbling up for no reason, old memories resurfacing, sudden bolts of insight. This is not a random occurrence. This is the exposure. This is your inner system recalibrating to the higher frequency of July 7th. You are being brought into alignment with your own truth, and any part of you that is out of harmony with that truth will start to tremble. Don't fight this. Witness it. Let it come. Let it rise to the surface. And as it does, just breathe. Because your breath is what keeps you anchored in your body while your mind undergoes this necessary release. If you run from this moment, it will only come back later with greater intensity. But if you sit with it today, if you stay still and permit yourself to feel it without judgment, then real transformation can finally start. You don't need a special place to feel this. You don't need a guru to explain it. All you require is your own honesty, the courage to look at what is. Because today, July 2nd, the mirror is spotless, the veil is thin, and your true self is ready to be seen. The only question is, are you brave enough to look? We're conditioned to dread being judged. But today's energy isn't here to condemn you, it's here to show you. And once something has been revealed to you, you are presented with a choice: ignore it and continue sleepwalking, or respond to it and start walking with your eyes wide open. The truth is, this day might not feel spectacular. It may not be loud, but its effects will ripple outward, because this unveiling doesn't happen in a single flash. It starts in a moment and then continues every single day afterward, as long as you choose awareness over avoidance. July 2nd has revealed something important. What you do with that revelation is now up to you. Will you bury it again under a pile of excuses, or will you stay present with the discomfort and let it become your greatest teacher? Remember, this exposure is a gift. It is the beginning of genuine freedom, because when there's nothing left to hide, nothing can control you any longer. This is what today offers. Not an escape but an awakening. Not fear but liberation. Not an end but a true beginning. So be still, breathe it all in, and let July 2nd be the day you finally, truly saw yourself. Today is July 2nd, and the signal has arrived. But the relevant question isn't whether the signal appeared. The real question is, did you perceive it? Because the honest truth is that most people did not, and most people will not. It's not because the sign is too complex or too hidden, but because it is quiet. It doesn't clamor for your attention. It whispers. It moves with a gentle touch. It reveals itself only within stillness. But stillness has become a forgotten practice for most. On July 2nd, the world didn't pause. People got up as usual. They scrolled their phones, chased the same digital rabbits, and while their attention was fixated on the outside world, their inner world remained untouched. The deepest tragedy isn't that truth is hard to find. The tragedy is that people are too distracted to notice it. They claim to want signs, but only the kind that flash and rumble. Yet the true signs, the real inner shifts, emerge silently in the space of a single breath, in a flash of self-awareness, in a sudden quiet that you didn't orchestrate. Today, July 2nd was brimming with these moments, but most people were blind to them. They couldn't hear the silence because their minds were too full of noise. They couldn't feel the shift because they were too busy running from themselves. You see, the reason most people fail to see the signs is because they consistently look in the wrong places. They assume change must originate from the outside. They wait for a voice from the heavens, an undeniable miracle, a public announcement. But life doesn't operate that way. Truth doesn't yell. It only becomes visible when you are prepared to see it. And being prepared doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It means being still, being honest, and being willing to just stop for a moment and look. July 2nd gave everyone this opportunity, but many let it slip by because they are addicted to motion, to noise, to reaction. They cram every empty moment with something to consume, something to do, something to fix. They cannot simply sit with themselves, and that is the very reason the sign will pass them by unnoticed. The great unveiling is not a sudden explosion. It is a slow exposure. It is the moment when everything that is non-essential begins to fall away. But if your entire life has been built upon the non-essential, then you will panic when what is real is finally revealed. You resist, you run, and you completely miss the point. On this day, July 2nd, a rare opening has appeared. A moment of deep truth, a thinning of the veil, a shift in the energetic tide that makes it easier just for today to recognize what is real. But your mind has to be calm enough to see it. And that is the core issue. Most people have not trained their minds for calmness. They have not practiced being silent. They have not practiced being present. So when the sign arrives, they don't even recognize it. It's like trying to see your face in a choppy lake. The reflection is there, but the surface is too chaotic. You need still water to see with clarity. You need a still mind to recognize the moment. Today is not the end of the world, but it is the end of the game of pretending. On July 2nd, what's real is amplified and what's false becomes a heavy burden to carry. This is why people are feeling more on edge today. This is why a sense of unease is rising in so many hearts. It's not because something is wrong, but because something fake within them is dying and something real is knocking at the door. But here is the secret: you have to actually listen. You have to be willing to pause, because this sign isn't going to wait until you feel ready. It has already shown up, and your task is to slow down enough to receive its message. If you missed it earlier, stop what you're doing right now. Breathe. Close your eyes. Ask yourself, what have I been running from? What truth am I afraid to see? These questions will guide you back to the sign, because this shift isn't something that pulls you out of the world. It's something that pulls away the layers you no longer need. But if you remain immersed in distraction, if you live in reaction, then you forfeit this opportunity. You miss the clarity, you miss the shift, and then days and weeks will go by, and you'll be left wondering why nothing feels right. It will be because the sign came, and you weren't home. So don't wait for another July 2nd. Don't wait for a more dramatic signal. Don't count on a second chance. The universe doesn't repeat its crucial messages in the way our minds wish it would. It speaks once with clarity. The rest is your responsibility. Today is about awareness. It's about showing you what has been there all along, but was hidden behind your frantic business. The sign has come to awaken you, not to entertain you. If you want to see it, you must be present. If you want to receive it, you must be still. Most people miss the signs not because they can't see, but because they won't stop looking away. Don't be one of them. Use this day. July 2nd is not just a date, it's an opening, and that opening will not last forever. You still have time, but not a lot. Sit with yourself. Listen without any demands. Feel what is real. That is where the sign lives. That is where the truth is found. And once you see it, do not look away. Today is July 2nd, and something of immense importance is happening. Something the majority of people will not perceive. This isn't just business as usual. It's not just a new page on the calendar. It is a fundamental shift in energy, a shift in the very way life responds to you. On the surface, things might appear unchanged, but underneath, everything is different. The old rules no longer apply. One of the most critical changes taking effect today is the speed at which karma operates. In the past, karma was often slow. You could act in a harmful or thoughtless way, and the consequences might not manifest for years. You might never even connect the two events. But that delay is now gone. As of July 2nd, the speed of karma has been recalibrated. It is now rapid, almost instantaneous. What you send out is what you get back, not in the distant future, but sometimes within hours or even minutes. You think it, you feel it, you act on it, and the mirror of reality reflects it back to you immediately. This isn't a punishment, it is precision. Life is not getting tougher, it is getting more honest. July 2nd ushers in clarity, and with that clarity comes the immediate feedback loop of your own energy. If you move through your day broadcasting anger, saturated in fear or dripping with judgment, you will see that reflected back at you. Not from some distant cosmic source, but from the people right in front of you, from your own body's distress, from your inner peace being shattered. And if you walk with love, with integrity, with clarity, you will feel this shift too. You will notice how events align more smoothly, how a sense of peace anchors you, how the day seems to flow. It's not a coincidence. That is karma responding faster than ever before. That is the new energy of today, July 2nd. This is precisely why self-awareness is no longer a luxury. It is a necessity. Because now every thought, every emotion, and every word you speak carries an immediate weight. You are co-creating your reality at a much greater speed. And if you are living on autopilot, you will suffer from the consequences of your own unconscious creation. If you are awake, you will thrive because of it. This is the difference. Before July 2nd, you could get away with hiding from your true intentions. You could put on a mask, you could fake a smile. Now, the energy behind the smile matters infinitely more than the smile itself. People will feel your truth, and so will the universe. You may already be feeling this today. You have a conversation and someone reacts with unusual intensity. Why? Because your own energy is more potent now. The frequency you are transmitting is being received in real time. This is the new vibration, and it began today, July 2nd. What does this mean for you, for your life? It means there is zero room left for pretending. There is no more space for self-deception. You can't continue planting seeds of poison and hope to harvest a garden of peace. The law of cause and effect is simply too fast now. You no longer need a spiritual master to show you your reflection. Life itself is holding up the mirror. If you feel tension and friction today, ask yourself, what am I holding on to inside? What energy am I putting out into the world? Because that is exactly what is returning to you. And if you feel peace today, acknowledge it. Protect that state. You created it. And that is a clear sign of your alignment. July 2nd marks the start of a new, deeper level of responsibility. Not just for what you do, but for your inner state of being. You can no longer afford the cost of living unconsciously. You can no longer be careless with your energy. The mirror is too sharp now. Every single thought creates an echo. Every single emotion has a trajectory. You must watch them with care. But please do not be afraid. This acceleration is a gift. It means that transformation can happen faster. Healing can happen faster. Growth can happen faster. But only if you are committed and awake. If you are, this time will feel like a tremendous blessing. What once took years to achieve can now happen in a matter of days. But if you persist in blaming, reacting and resisting, then yes, life will feel incredibly heavy because you are fighting your own reflection. Today, July 2nd, offers you a chance to reset, to clearly see what your energy is actually creating. No more hiding, no more procrastinating, just look. The results are already right in front of you. If you want a different reality, change your input, purify your intentions, slow down your reactions, watch your thoughts. Don't expect other people to change. They are all dealing with their own karmic feedback. Focus on yours. Today isn't about control, it's about alignment. If something feels off, take a step back, reflect, and adjust your inner frequency. Life isn't punishing you, it is showing you. This is the gift of today. This is the wisdom of July 2nd. Karma is no longer a distant philosophical idea, it is your immediate reality, and it's giving you real-time data on the person you are becoming. Use this, don't fear it, align with it, and everything in your world will begin to shift. Today is July 2nd, and karma is speaking louder than it ever has before. Are you listening? Today is July 2nd, and on this day countless people are waiting for a savior, a guru, a teacher, a charismatic leader, a new political system, a better world handed to them. But here's the unshakable truth. No one is coming. No one is going to rescue you from your own mind. The era of waiting is officially over. The time for searching for answers outside of yourself has expired. The solution has always been within you. And on this day, the prevailing energy is compelling you to finally look there. The only way forward from here is inward. July 2nd has made this abundantly clear. The noise of the world is only going to get louder. Distractions will continue to multiply. The flood of information will increase. But truth will never be found in more. It will only ever be found in less noise, less talking, less frantic chasing. The only true salvation now is your own inner work. You can call it meditation, self-inquiry, breathwork, or silence. The labels are irrelevant. What matters is the practice, a daily, consistent, radically honest practice. This is no longer just a spiritual hobby. It has become a strategy for survival. Not physical survival, but mental, emotional, and spiritual survival. If you are not cultivating inner stillness during these times, you are getting lost. Slowly but surely, July 2nd didn't arrive to scare you. It arrived to shake you, to wake you up to this reality. The outer world is unstable in many ways. Systems are cracking. People are filled with anxiety. Emotions are volatile. But those who are anchored in themselves will remain unmoved. That kind of profound stability doesn't come from the news, from governments, or from spiritual influencers. It comes from within. And you cannot buy it, you cannot borrow it. You must build it yourself, piece by piece, breath by breath. Look at yourself honestly. Today, July 2nd, is a mirror. It is showing you all the places where you still depend on the external world to make you feel safe, to feel worthy, to feel whole. And the more you depend on the outside, the more you will suffer, because the outside world is inherently unstable. It always has been. Peace was never meant to be discovered out there. Peace is a choice you make on the inside, over and over and over again. When things around you get loud, you must learn to become quiet inside. When other people are reactive, you must learn to stay still. When the future seems uncertain, you must return your focus to this present moment. This is the inner path, and it is the only path that will provide true guidance moving forward. Not because an authority figure said so, but because life itself is demonstrating this to you now clearly on July 2nd. You are not being punished. You are being reminded that the absolute center of your universe must be your awareness. Not your career, not your phone, not your social image. Your awareness, that silent, watching part of you, is your anchor, and the stronger your connection to it becomes, the less the outer world will have the power to pull you away from your true self. People are asking, what's the plan? What do I fix? Where should I go? But all of that is secondary. The first and most vital step is to go within. To sit down, to breathe, to simply observe, and then to do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next, until it is no longer a task on your to-do list, until it simply becomes your way of being. You will not find salvation by overthinking. You will not discover clarity by complaining. You will not get the answers by running away from yourself. July 2nd is showing you that you must stop. Stop the frantic running. Stop the endless talking. Stop reaching outside for what can only ever be found inside. Even if the world grows more chaotic, you have the power to become more calm. That is your strength. That is your true responsibility. But it doesn't happen by magic. It happens through discipline, through repetition, through the conscious choice to return again and again to your inner stillness. Even and especially when you don't feel like it, you will have difficult days. Days when your mind refuses to settle down, when your emotions are screaming, when your body feels agitated. But those are the most crucial days to practice, because your peace isn't proven when life is easy. It is forged when everything is hard and you still choose to come back to your center. July 2nd is an invitation, a reminder, and a signal. The world will offer you thousands of paths, but only one of them leads to real freedom. The inner path. The path of honesty, of observation, of alignment. And this path isn't glamorous, it isn't loud, it is profoundly quiet. And because of that, most people will ignore it. But those who choose to walk it will discover something that is priceless, a peace that cannot be shaken, a clarity that cannot be confused, and a strength that can never be taken away. And so today, don't ask who is coming to rescue you. Ask yourself how deeply you are willing to rescue yourself from your own distractions, from your own illusions, from your own fears. Everything you could ever need is already inside you. But you must become quiet enough to access it. You must become still enough to hear it. And July 2nd is the perfect day to begin. Because today, the energy fully supports this shift. The noise of the world may be rising, but so is your opportunity to rise above it from within. So sit, breathe, practice. Let this day mark the start of your real journey. Not the path of reaction, but the path of mastery. Not the path of escape, but the path of presence. No one is coming because no one needs to. You are already here. Today is July 2nd, and this day is far more than just a date. It's a powerful reminder, a gentle but firm signal that the time for hesitation is over. For years, so many people have heard the inner call to wake up, but they put it on the back burner. They were too busy, too distracted, or too afraid to confront what was inside them. But now, that message can no longer be pushed aside. The gate is still open, but the passage is narrow and it is beginning to close. On July 2nd, the universe is presenting a final moment of intense clarity, a chance to shift, an opportunity to realign. But this is not an event you can reschedule. This isn't something where you can say, I'll get to it tomorrow, because the energetic tide has already turned. The opportunity is directly in front of you, and the longer you hesitate, the more difficult it will become to respond. Many people operate under the illusion that they have infinite time, that they can carry on with their old habits, their comfortable patterns, their unconscious existence, and simply change things later. But July 2nd has unveiled an uncomfortable truth. Later might not exist, and the moment to act is right now, not next week, not tomorrow. Now today, when you continuously ignore these internal signals, you start to feel a sense of heaviness. You begin to feel anxious, often without a clear reason. You feel restless, confused, and profoundly disconnected. This is not a random feeling. This is your internal compass telling you that you are off course. And on a day like July 2nd, that sense of misalignment becomes impossible to ignore because the energy is too potent. It is pulling you toward your truth. And if you resist that pull, it will inevitably pull you into pain. The reason the gate is closing is not rooted in fear. It's because truth is a current that always moves forward. It never waits. It flows like a river. If you fail to step into it now, you will have to wait for the next major cycle. And that next cycle may not be as gentle. Because the longer you ignore the thing that is calling to you, the more forceful the call becomes. And sometimes that call has to manifest as a crisis, as a breakdown, as chaos, just to finally get your attention. But July 2nd isn't about crisis. It's about opportunity. It's a day that is flooded with light. But you can only access that light if you are willing to face your own shadows. Only if you are willing to look at what is truly real inside of you. Not the persona you show to others, not the curated life you post online, not who you pretend to be, but who you really are when there's absolutely no one left to impress. If you are feeling a strong sense of resistance today, that is your cue. If you feel emotional, unsettled, or hypersensitive, that is the signal. Your entire system is begging for a change, and you can either heed its call or continue to ignore it. But the choice you make today carries weight. Small, seemingly insignificant decisions create massive shifts in direction. One step down the wrong road solidifies a habit. One step down the right road carves out a new path. July 2nd is offering you a path, a quiet, clear, and honest one. It doesn't guarantee comfort, it guarantees growth. It guarantees depth. But you are the one who has to walk it. Nobody can do that for you. This isn't about striving for perfection. It's not about trying to fix your entire life overnight. It is simply about showing up for yourself. It's about pausing, reflecting, and declaring to yourself, I have been asleep, but now I am choosing to wake up. That moment of clear decision is the doorway. That spark of awareness is the opening. You still have time, but it's limited. The longer you put it off, the more the world will suck you back into its vortex of distraction, reaction, and unconsciousness. And living unconsciously is a very dangerous place to be right now because the energy is sharp. It does not support avoidance. It does not reward spiritual laziness. It magnifies who you are, not who you pretend to be. So be brutally honest. Are you really listening? Are you truly present? Or are you still trying to make excuses? On July 2nd, there is no more time left for excuses. There is no more time for pretending you didn't hear the call. The call is here, loud and clear. It isn't coming from outside. It's rising from within you, from your body, from your breath, from your own deep awareness. And they are all asking you the same question, are you ready? There will be people who scoff at this, who claim nothing is happening, who will label it as superstition, drama, or fantasy. Let them talk. Let them remain asleep. But you, if you are still reading this, something deep inside you already knows this is true. You have felt the shift. You have sensed the urgency. You have heard that quiet voice in your heart telling you, do not wait. Do not wait for life to get louder, because it will. And when it does, it might not be so kind. Because when you ignore a gentle knock, life eventually comes back with a harder one. And if that doesn't work, it kicks the door down, not to punish you, but to wake you. But you don't have to wait for that. You do not require pain in order to grow. You can choose presence instead. You can choose reflection. You can choose silence. That is what July 2nd is offering you, a peaceful reset if you are willing to accept it. So pause right now. Ask yourself, What am I still clinging to that I know I must release? What am I still avoiding that I know I need to face? What truth have I buried that is now demanding to be seen? These are not comfortable questions, but they are essential. Because once that gate closes, it becomes much more difficult to find it again. Not impossible, just harder, and you deserve to feel ease. You deserve to be in alignment. You deserve clarity, but you must act now. July 2nd is today, and today is the day to come home to yourself. The window is open, but not for long. Step through it. Not with fear, but with presence. Not with panic, but with purpose. Because the truth is, this is your moment.